Hello, I have Abby here with me, and Selena will be joining us momentarily. She's enjoying the cat and the heat in the window. Some of you already have seen this material on the shelf, and you know that this is going to be really exciting. And some of you are thinking, why is there a present on the biology shelf? Right? And today's the day that we're going to unwrap this present and talk about it. So technology-wise, this lesson is going to be a little bit challenging, so you're going to have to bear with me because I didn't really plan ahead on how this is going to work. So I have a material that I want to share with you, and I also have a slideshow of pictures that I want to share while I'm talking. So we're going to see how I'm going to transition between these screens. It'll be interesting. Okay. Okay, so this material is very, very special. It's very exciting and interesting. And I know you've been waiting since you came to my classroom, since 4th grade, to have this material. You've seen other students take it out and unwrap it and do something mysterious and magical, and then they put it all back and tie it. And you're always going, when am I going to get that lesson? Well, today's the day. Okay, this is Kingdom Animalia. Anima means to breathe. Also could think about like having a spirit or having something within you. So we're going to talk about Kingdom Animalia, anima, soul, to have a soul. Okay, we're going to open this. Selena's working on Greek and Latin roots for her studies, and so I told her I would make sure I would tell her the meaning of everything. She doesn't like it. She laughs at me when we're at the grocery store and I say something, when we're at a restaurant and I'm reading a menu and I'm like, oh, that comes to us from the Latin. And she's like, no. I'm like, it does. It does. Okay. It's just like my birthday. And inside of here, we have some cards and a picture. Now, I have lots of pictures that I didn't get printed, and that's what the spreadsheet or the slideshow will be in just a moment. But here I have a circle, and it has all sorts of pictures of living things on it. Oh, bless you. I'm going to set that there. Kingdom Animalia. When man began to investigate animals, he first gave his attention to the ones he was using to his advantage, either for food or for transportation, or which were dangerous for his life. Oh my goodness, bless you again. Okay, gradually his curiosity led him to investigate also those which did not affect him directly. As he became aware of more and more living beings, he began to group them in different ways. At first, it was very general, and then it became more and more specific. The science of distinguishing and grouping together similar objects and living beings, such as animals, is called classification. It took a long time, and it is still going on. That is why, as the knowledge of man goes on increasing, the classification becomes more and more detailed, and in the process, the groupings can change. The animal kingdom has been divided into different groups, each called a phylum. There are many, many phyla, and we're going to consider only a few of them. And the ones we're going to talk about are phylum Mollusca, the shells, Echinodermata, the starfish, Annelida, the earthworm, Coleoptera, the jellyfish and corals, Porifera, sponges, Protozoa, the amoebas, Arthropoda, ants and spiders, and Chordata, which the vertebrates, or you and me and all of us are, those with the vertebrates. So those are the class, or the phyla, or phylum of Kingdom Animalia. There's more, but those are the only ones that I have materials for, but you can research beyond into anything that you're interested in. There are lots of cards I'm going to read to you. While I do that, first I'm going to try to start the slideshow so you can look at some of the pictures. So hang on just a second while I attempt to change this. Hi. Now you're in on our secret on how this is working. We have 2 cameras. So let me see. I have a slideshow right up here. As long as it's not going to show upside down, it's going to work. I don't know what's recording right now because it says I started screen sharing.
Hello?
I don't know what's happening. So we'll cross our fingers that this is going to work. And we're going to turn this on as a slideshow. Okay. I don't know if it's showing. We're going to do this. I can figure this out. Hold on. Unmute that one and mute. I think that it's going to work. Okay. The name, but we do need to turn the sound off down here. The name Animalia comes from the Latin word anima, meaning breath or soul, which implies, among other things, the ability to feel and the ability to move. These are two of the main differences between plants and animals. The plants are mostly rooted to the ground and cannot move at will. Neither can they feel pleasure or pain. Animals are also endowed with the attribute of irritability, which means that they react to external stimuli and move away from or toward whatever the stimulus is. Suppose you put your fingers on a hot stove. You will feel pain and snatch your hand away. If you are hungry and you smell freshly baked bread, you go toward it to eat. But the most important difference with the plants is that whereas the plants can create their own food from non-living matter, such as gas like carbon dioxide, water, and minerals, and with it build their own different organs, to do the same, animals must feed on plants or other animals which have themselves in turn fed on plants. They cannot create their own food. In this way, the animals act as a control over living beings, all of which have a natural tendency to grow and multiply. If each newborn plant and animal were to survive, because of overcrowding, the possibility of life on Earth would be destroyed. Through their feeding, animals reduce the number of both plants and animals, and in this way help maintain the balance among all living things. The tendency to grow and multiply makes it so that animals, like plants, are to be found anywhere where there's the slightest chance to exist. They are to be found even in the extreme cold of the polar regions and in the extreme heat of the deserts and of the boiling waters of hot springs. They crowd all sorts of environments, inside and outside water, above and under the ground. In fact, it has been calculated that in the seemingly lifeless stretches of a beach bordering the sea, half the weight of all the sand is due to the animals living in it. Animals, like plants, are composed of cells, but there is a difference between their cells and the cells of a plant. The plant cell contains grains of chlorophyll, and the animal cell does not. Also, the plant cell has a rigid wall of cellulose around it, whereas the animal cell is enclosed in a soft and elastic membrane. The animal kingdom, as in the vegetable kingdom, includes the enormous number of individuals composed of only a single cell. These are so small that they can be seen only with a microscope. On the other hand, there are others which are composed of so many millions of cells that they reach a great bulk. Think of the large whales. Like plants, the animals multiply. The process is called reproduction. In animals, as in plant reproduction, it takes place in various forms. In some animals, like Hydra, a bud is formed on the body which grows and develops into another Hydra and finally detaches itself from the mother. In general, cells divide by fission like those of the plants. One cell creates an inner separation that divides also the nucleus, and the cell eventually splits and becomes two individuals. This is known as asexual reproduction. There is another kind of reproduction in which special types of cells are created, the male and the female cells. Generally, the male cell goes to join the female. They fuse their nuclei and start a process of division. Multiplication and specialization of cells, at the end of which is in which a new individual is created. This process may happen outside the body of the mother or inside it. And turn off the slideshow. I think that I might be getting the hang of this technology business. We're going to watch this video later and hope that all of that worked. If not, this will become a really long outtake. Okay, so I'm going to bring this back down so you can see the table. Okay, so here's our disc of all of those different forms of life. Remember, I said that this study is going to be the study of all life, anima. Anima means breath or soul. So it's the animals that have a soul or that breathe. And so we have things like birds up here at the top, and a giraffe, and all the other mammals like humans. And we have turtles. So we have reptiles and frogs. We have amphibians. We have insects like that butterfly. We've got sea anemones and crabs and shells and sponges and fish. And so we're going to study the classification of all of these different forms of life. So for your follow-up, you can think about something that belongs in Kingdom Animalia, and you can do a short research on that. You can think about the division that we're talking about when we take all of the things that belong in Kingdom Animalia and we're splitting those into the phylum. Maybe you want to research phyla or phylum. That's spelled P-H-Y-L-U-M, the phylums of Kingdom Animalia. And we're gonna go next. We're gonna try one of the other ones. I'm not sure which one yet, but don't worry, we'll do many of them. So mollusca is the phylum for the shells, and Echinodermata is the phylum for starfish and sea urchins. Annelida is the earthworms and the sea worms. So we'll see what one is next. If you have a preference on what is next, you go ahead and send me an email. That'd be great. And then we'll get that videotape for you. But one of those, maybe Arthropoda. I know some of you in class that have had this work before. I know that your favorite was the spiders and ticks. It was not. It was not. I remember that the follow-up was like the causing of nightmares. So anyway, those who felt that way know who they are, and I'm not going to call you out on it, but I just know that was not the favorite work. Anyway, next time we will open up our present, our special material here, and you will get a chance to open it. Not you, these two. We'll get a chance to open the present and see what comes next. And look, when we finish with this work, we wrap it all back up and make it beautiful. It'll go back on the biology shelf for next time. Selena, will you put your finger right in the middle there? It'll go back on the shelf for next time, and we can do another lesson again. Thank you so much for joining us for Kingdom Animalia, the very first lesson, and learning about creatures that have breath or souls. Anima. Okay, you guys have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.